Welcome to another Triathlon podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is another Triathlon podcast. Enjoy the ride.
Welcome back, triathlon enthusiasts. I'm your host, Jenna, and you're tuned into another episode of another triathlon podcast brought to you by Mauna Endurance. As always, as it seems to be week after week lately, we have got a jam-packed episode, and we're so excited to get into it. We were starting to chat before we started recording, but we got to save it because I know we want to geek out on some of the results coming up here. But today, we'll be diving into the whirlwind that was Super League Triathlon. There was drama, disqualifications, some crashes, all had us holding our breath, and even some questions after the race. So we will dive into that, but that's not all. We'll also talk a little bit about the recent happenings at the Vuelta España because we are just endurance sports junkies, and we got to talk about it a little bit. I know we've been watching. And speaking of predictions, we've got some hot takes on the upcoming men's Ironman World Championships in Nice that you definitely won't want to miss. Of course, we've also got our classics, the What the F moment of the week, social media post, and some questions from the audience. So grab a snack and let's get going here. Fede, how are you doing?
Hey guys, good. I've been doing good. Like I said last week, I was battling a bit of bug or cold. I don't know what it was. But since I have a race in 3 weeks' time, I've been doing a lot of panic training. So a lot of race pace intensity and a lot of, jam-pack sessions. And last weekend, actually, I was talking to Josh over text over the weekend that I bunked my workout because I had one gel. I had one gel on a 4-hour workout. Yeah.
How's that fat metabolism going?
Oh man, it was. I tell you what, it was good until it wasn't. So
Yeah.
no, it was all my fault. Like when I opened the drawer where I keep my gels and everything, it was empty. So I had to muscle through and grab everything I could from the house, which I thought I was not going to need anything. Me being me. But yeah, it was brutal, but I got it done, and it was not pretty towards the end. But happy that I restocked now on gels and everything for this week. What about you guys?
I say not as I do, huh?
Oh, totally.
Exactly.
That's how I tried Morton gels for the first time. It was my first race back after like COVID or something, like after all the lockdowns and races not happening, and had a duathlon and didn't think to check. All of my gels were expired, but I just
no.
Yeah, I just happened to do a trail running photo shoot the day before. And the other model I was working with was a trail runner. And he's like, oh, you should give this a try. It's really good. And gave me a Morton gel. And okay, I'll give it a try. And yeah, first time was during the race. That was the one bit of nutrition I had on there. And I was not prepared for that texture. Has this gone bad? What am I doing now? I mean, Morton gels are great. But when you're not expecting that and you're in the middle of a race going hard, it's just like, whoa, okay, what?
Yeah.
Certainly that shock to the system the first time you have one. Now, if you can take them down, they're phenomenal. They're great. But unless you're ready for it,
it's quite an experience.
Right?
You're right. No, for sure. But great to hear that you're getting back to it there and things. How are things feeling heading into your race coming up?
Yeah, the body's actually bounced back fairly quickly, which I'm surprised. So note for our listeners that it doesn't matter if you're sick or anything. If you've put in the work before, it's going to be there. Like we talked on a couple of episodes beforehand. So yeah, I'm super excited to get back on the training horse and seeing what I can do in 3 weeks' time. So yeah, super excited.
Love to hear it. How about you, Josh? How are things going on your side?
Just excited, ready to go. I've got like 6-7 days now to my marathon on Sunday. So
I know, that's so exciting.
And it's crazy. Like I said to my coach this morning, we were kind of race prepping. And I was like, this is as good as I've felt since like before Oceanside.
Amazing.
And it's crazy to think 2 weeks ago, I was like, this isn't happening. So pretty stoked about that, and had an awesome week of a lot of threshold training, both on the bike and running, and getting out on the track, getting outside. Now it's kind of like watch the weather, but can't really do much about that. But really just making sure I've got the nutrition ready to go based on what happens on Sunday morning. So went over that plan. It's a 10 loop, 2.6 mile track. So
wow.
For me, but it's flat. And it's literally there's only 80 people in the field. So there's no need to worry about getting your pace going or like getting off to start
around people.
Right. So I have a plan to have a certain amount of sodium and a certain amount of gels, each 2.6. So I get to have my own aid station set up.
Oh, nice.
Plus their water stations, which I think there's 2 out there. So got a pretty good plan to not bonk Fetty.
Like a pro.
So, and I actually started testing a new electrolyte. I'm using Pedialyte Sport, which I thought was looking at it the other day. I was like, wow, this should work. And I've now done a couple sessions with it, and it's a really good option for me, and going to go with it and have like little pull and spring bottles set up. So for every 16 ounces, I'll have 3 bottles. And that'll give me enough to just drink between the next aid station and then toss it.
Perfect. Sounds like you got it dialed in.
What a professional. I think you're the expert here, Josh.
Yeah.
There's only certain things you can control, right? And knowing what you're doing when it comes to nutrition is one of those things you can kind of control, and whatever happens, happens.
No, yeah. It. Excellent. Well, we can't wait to follow along with your marathon this weekend and hear all about it next week. It's going to be an awesome day out, I'm sure.
We'll see.
What's up with you, Jenna?
I think you've got the biggest story of the week.
Man, yeah.
Lessons learned over here on YouTube.
Oh, definitely. Man, the coaches are coming with the dramas that we should know better. But I was so excited. This is one of my favorite sessions. Just was supposed to head out for a long bike ride. We're like 6 weeks out or something from Kona. I'm just counting down from the 7 that was thrown at me constantly last week. So I had a long bike ride. It was supposed to be between 110, 120 miles with about 3 hours at Ironman race pace or race watts in there. And that, like, my absolute favorite kind of session. It was looking like a beautiful day and the wind was going to be calm. So I was so stoked to head out there. Did even like the Instagram post beforehand. Hey, pumped up, ready to go. Post along the way. Look how lucky I am to ride out here. And then disaster. And, I haven't been riding outside as much as I would like to, just balancing the whole family time and the summers with my son being off and stuff. It's a little tougher to balance out some of that time. But I got out there and did all the uphill, went to turn around, and there's like a 30-mile stretch back where it's mostly downhill, windy, twisty, my favorite roads out there. And there's one cattle guard right after the turnaround in there. And I've gone over this thing a million times and apparently just hit the wrong spot going downhill over this cattle guard. My front tire just pops and you just hear seconds later that sound of the rim on the road. And you're like, oh, but at this point I'm going like 35 miles per hour and trying to brake while not destroying the rim or sliding out with the gravel on the road. I was just like, oh, this sucks. So luckily managed to stop without going down there, doing too much damage. The rim looks okay, so it's still fine there. But yeah, it's just the worst. So I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. Haven't had a flat tire in forever and had gotten complacent there. So swapped out the tube, changed it, and go to pump it up. and it's not holding air. There, I can feel the air leaking out around the valve, and I'm like, come on. Totally my fault. Should have had a spare tube and some more CO2 and stuff just in case that happens, but didn't on the day. Tried to flag down. I started a little bit later in the day, so there weren't as many cyclists around. Flagged down 2 who didn't have anything in there. And the worst part is I was like 7 kilometers from a bike shop, but walking in bike shoes with the flat tire in there trying to get over, it would have taken like an hour and stuff. So I'm just like, oh, come on. But yeah, so called for a ride to rescue me and bring me back home. Which unfortunately is at like one of the farthest points I'd be on the day. So it took like over an hour to get picked up. And by that time, if I'd gone back home, grabbed all the stuff and head back out, then I would have been riding into the dark, which is not recommended on a dry bike with no lights. So ended up going back home, finishing the ride on the trainer, which, luckily it was one of those days where the body was feeling good. The watts were coming easy. I was feeling great. So it was a lot easier to get back on the trainer and just kind of get going again. If the walk weren't coming and I felt tired, that would have been a lot tougher to get started again 3 hours later by the time I could kind of hop back on. But yeah, just a good reminder, have backups to the backups. And hopefully that's my flat tire for the year and it doesn't happen in any races here. So
that's a good time to think about, like, what are your guys' thoughts on tubeless, or what is your thoughts on tubeless now, Jenna?
All right. Mixed, because of all of the drama at Super League Singapore. There was a lot of tubeless drama there with exploding tires and a ton of it, trying to fix those. No, I think honestly, like I talked to the NB guys years ago and they're all about the tubeless, and something I definitely need to look more into, because you can stick a tube in there afterwards if the worst happens and stuff. But something a little bit more into. It's definitely a case for me. It's my comfort zone, knowing what to do to change a tire and get it seated and stuff. But I should explore that a bit more.
Yeah, it's also the thing with I've changed them too, because that's one thing I don't know how well I would do in the wild.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. And the thing with tubeless is that it's awesome, but you have to set it up correctly from day one. Otherwise, it's just going to be chaos every single time. And like you said, Jenna, you can always put in a tube if everything goes wrong. However, you need to be prepared because it's going to be messy. Between all the sealants and usually tubeless tires are quite difficult to get off the rim. So you need to have strong hands, strong fingers, and quite a good tire lever to get those things off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you know what? Yeah, I've been so mixed on whether to do it or not. It's been just easier not to. Definitely not going to change it before Kona.
Oh no,
I know a lot of random things last minute before races for the first time, but that will not be one of them.
Smart.
Yeah. But yeah, the next day I went out and had a run, and it was honestly one of the best runs I have ever had, which was such a good confidence boost, because it was definitely feeling I think I mentioned on here, just kind of behind in the training with all the travel early in the year and a lot more kind of work stuff going on. But yeah, it was a confidence boosting weekend, which always feels nice.
I had the opposite effect with your run. Made me feel like, I don't know if I'm ready for my marathon. Look at the splits. Holy crap, is that for 18 miles? All right. That's what I got to do. That's my pace is 7:25, 7:30. So
gotcha. The difference is 10 years in the sport.
Yeah, no, I get it.
No, you're going to do awesome out there. It'll be so good. Anyways, we have a few pros trained up for a race this weekend. I don't know. Do we want to go into our regular segments or jump into the Super League Triathlon results?
Whatever you guys want. Like, it's fine with me if we go over the Super League and then the result or the segments, or it doesn't matter.
Sure. How about let's jump into Super League, because I know we were, even before the podcast, trying to start talking about it because it was such a crazy race in there. It's funny, these Super League races, they've been going on for 5 years now. And they've actually been on this course before, but it just seemed like there was a crazy amount of crashes, an insane amount of drama, and I'm sure we will jump into all of it, but it definitely wasn't boring.
No boring.
Yeah, no.
Even the coach is getting into it.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. That's one thing I do, and like I'm very mixed on the team aspect, but having more time with the coaches in front of the camera, I think adds a lot to it, and kind of getting a little bit of insight into their thought process is good. But let's start off with the results. We'll break it down. We'll get results for the women's race, chat about it, and then jump into the men's results and go from there. How's that sound?
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
perfect.
Cool. Fede, who took it out?
Right. So this weekend we had the triple mix, like we mentioned last week, which is a very tough format. To me, I think this is the best format out of Super League, which is 3 back-to-back mini triathlons. So it's like 300-meter swim, 4K bike, like a mile run, 3 times over, and your legs are screaming at you by the time you're done. So this time we had Kate Walk taking the win, Leon Perriot from France in second place, or from the Scorpions, and Emma Lombardi coming in third place from the Eagles. Kate is from the Sharks, which this has been a very surprising start of the Super League season, because no Scorpions are up there, which we thought it was going to be a domination from them, but I think it's very good for the sport, and I think the Scorpions, we thought they were going to be dominating every single race. So it's very refreshing to see, other teams being up there while the big dogs are underperforming, to their standards.
Yeah, definitely. And they've been plagued with just not having their big names there. Like they had Cassandra Beaugrand supposed to be on that team, Georgia Taylor Brown supposed to be on there, and unfortunately GTB has an injury. And Cassandra Beaugrand, I'm actually not sure why she's not there, but yeah, it's definitely mixed up the race and the results, because we're not seeing a lot of the familiar names that we've seen year after year at the Super League races. So it seems like it's a lot more all up in the air and anyone can win, which definitely makes for some exciting racing. But man, MG, the Scorpions manager there, was tearing his hair out a bit during that race. He's frustrated. He's a character.
Yeah, it was good to see, and I think, like you mentioned before, if we could see more action with the coaches and maybe mic them up a bit more, like you have like a football coach on the sideline, and seeing them taking, frustration and anger out of the racing, that would be super cool. Like, yeah.
You know what I would love to see? Like the hot seat at the Tour de France with the time trial. Have like the coaches lined up there as they're like watching their race and get their like reactions in the final round. Maybe do something like that. I know they're running all around there helping out athletes and kind of choosing who gets to short shoot and stuff, but like the last round would be so fun to sit them in the row and just get like their reactions to everything happening.
I mean, they're really good on social media and posting about penalties and things. So what is it coming out of their unfiltered mouth?
Right? I think they'd need the beep button or the bleep button on a fair bit. That would definitely, that'd be so good to watch. But yeah, it was crazy. And then we had a bunch of controversy with it too.
Did.
It was, Jeanne Lehair was disqualified and she was crushing it out there. But it looks like she went to do up her helmet when she grabbed her bike. It undone. I don't know if it didn't clip in entirely or it's a magnetic one and something happened in there, but it unclipped as she was running out. And Super League runs to a lot of the World Triathlon rules. And if you have your hands on your bike moving with your helmet undone, that's an automatic disqualification, which is harsh. But safety, they definitely don't mess around with. I know there were some comments on maybe that is too harsh in there, but unfortunately it's a case of the rules are the rules, which it's brutal to see.
Yeah, it was weird, because watching the video on the race, it seemed like she had her her bike strap all the way in, and then it became undone. And then she was like, "Oh no, I have to redo it again." And it was too late because she had already touched the bike. So I don't know if it was like an equipment malfunction or something, or like you said, if it was a magnetic one, or because on the video it looks like she actually strapped it in and then it became undone. So I don't really know what happened there.
It just sucks. I wonder if it's one of those like clips where once you clip it in, it expands and it doesn't come back out, and maybe she just didn't get it all the way into the click. And either way, it sucks. It's especially like, I don't know, should it be a case of, if safety is the big concern, should it be a case of there's a penalty if you do it up before the mountain line but don't do it while you're in transition? Like, I don't know.
They could have a violation A and a violation B, right?
Totally.
She definitely stopped and got it on before she got on the bike.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
There was a 30-second penalty or whatever, a 5-second penalty, whatever it may be, because in Super League, 5 seconds is a penalty.
30 seconds, you're out.
Or 3 seconds in Wild's World.
Ouch.
Yeah, no, that just sucks to see. But there was, and then the other thing that came out on the women's race, which it has been crazy to see the vitriol on social media from a clip, but the Super League content team shared a picture of a crash between Alice Betto and Nicole van der Kaay. And it just looks like Alice went off her line, crashed into Nicole, knocked her into the barriers, and went down. And it looks absolutely brutal, right? Like, if you didn't know that they were teammates on the same team and just saw that, it does look like she just maliciously crashes into her. And that's been a lot of the discussion on social media, like that she's a horrible person, this was dangerous, she's trying to go after her, right? But when you know a little bit more of the backstory, like they're teammates on the same team, switching, like taking turns on the front of the bike to get the fastest time in there. And it looks like there was just a case of, I don't know whether they touched wheels in the back or she hit a bump in there, but they crashed into each other. It definitely, like, you could see Alice freaking out because she sees something has gone wrong and she's not trying to get into her. So yeah, it's just been crazy to see some of the responses on social media, and it's being shared everywhere. That's brutal.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this type of racing, it's fast, it's very technical, especially on the bike courses that they are designing. And they do that for a reason, because it creates more excitement for the race. And it's better for us viewers and for the athletes, because those courses, because they're so short in distance, they need to be tough and very technical, because they benefit the super strong cyclists. They can actually break away and make a difference. And these girls, I think they're, like you said, Jenna, they were taking turns and pulling, and I don't know. To me, it looked like something went wrong in the timing of the pull and when they had to go back to the to the draft, or some miscommunication on where, if one is going to go left or right, because if you just look at the video, it looks like I don't want to take my words in the wrong way, but like a rookie mistake. It looks so preventable. And I think because it was so fast that they didn't know what was really going on, because, and the consequences were, the video was brutal. She hit the fence super hard and then the tarmac.
And then the other aspect of it too is Super League takes that video, throws it out there for the clickbait, and makes it look like it's one of those nasty crashes at the end of a sprint in the Tour de France. And we've all seen some really brutal and intentional crashes at the end of the Tour de France. This was not one of those. And the racers themselves have come out and said this was an accident, and I'm okay. I'm not very hurt. I mean, thankfully. But yeah, I mean, it didn't look good. I'd like to know what they were seeing in front of them, because it almost looks like she saw something that caused her to jet over to the right there. But it's unfortunate for sure.
Yeah, and it was good that Nicole van der Kaay came out on social media and stuff too, and just said, hey, like, she even commented on that video, like, hey guys, in the comments, like, this was an accident. It happens. It wasn't malicious in there. And I don't know, it looks like maybe she pulled off to go pull her turn on the right on the inside, which just wasn't the right line. And it looks like Leche was just surprised to see her on that side and not expecting that. But probably won't know exactly what happened in there. But it's unfortunate. I feel bad for Leche just having to deal with that. Like, social media can be a wonderful tool and a great thing for inspiration, but that's got to be hard to deal with when you just have thousands of people at this point, like, saying that you're a horrible human being and that you did you tried to attack someone in that way, which, God, I can't imagine. These athletes are young too. I can't imagine having to deal with that right now.
Yeah, I mean, and Alice, she just became a mom a few months ago, so I don't think there's any malicious cell in her body right now because, yeah, she's just bouncing back from giving birth and getting back into the rhythm and back to racing. And yeah, I think we're all prone to accidents when we race, and I think this was just that, an accident that, it happens, and that's racing. And I'm glad that both girls are okay and that they went on socials and mentioned that it was an accident and that the most important thing, they're both okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was crazy the amount of crashes that were happening on that course. Like I said, it's not the first time they've been on that course, and it wasn't near as brutal last time, but it seemed like just everyone went down. And my guess is it's a case of everyone is just railing it harder than ever because the racing is so fast and furious and lots on the line, and they're going hard. And some of these athletes are newer to Super League, so maybe they haven't found their limits of the bike handling skills like some of the other athletes who try to go ahead of them. It just leads to a bit of disaster.
You see these other athletes and you're watching them take these corners, and then you try and do it too, and you haven't done that enough.
Totally.
Completely off.
Not everyone's Hayden Wilde.
And then you watch him and you watch Christian, and it's like, wow, I mean, how well they handle those corners. And that's why they can separate themselves and get so frustrated when they don't have the day that they thought they were going to have. Or count the laps.
That brings us to perfect segue to the men's race. Fede, tell us how that went down.
Yeah, so it seems like the old guard was taking this race on the men's side, because we had Leo Bergere from France and from the Eagles taking the win. Then we had Johnny Brownlee from the Sharks in second, which is very good to see him on form, and I think he's trying to tell the British selection committee that he's the right guy for the mixed team relay, because he was on fire. And then Henry Skuman from the Scorpion. So the first Scorpion on the podium. Well, no, Leo Period was also there, but yeah, Henry was. He's a very strong swimmer and a solid runner. He's a great bike handler, but yeah, I mean, Leo Bergere is just running way better than the rest right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was crushing it out there between his biking skills, the swimming. He was absolutely dominating that race, but we lost out on an epic battle to the finish in this race. So let's talk a little bit about some of the drama that happened regarding Leo Bergere and Hayden Wilde here. So it looks like there was some confusion on the final lap of the bike ride, whether they had another lap to go or not. And even the commentators were confused. They were looking at the graphics at the bottom, which said they still had laps to go. And then so what happened was
so like they could hear the bell.
Yeah. So what happened was when they were coming up on what should have been the final lap, or when they finished what should have been the final lap, Hayden cruises through a transition and start picking it up like he's going to do another lap of the bike course, where Leo Bergere had his feet out of the shoes. He was going to go hop off the bike, but then he sees Hayden go for it. So he rides over the dismount line, cruising transition. But then he had his team manager, Tim Don, waving him down like, no, you're done. Like, this is, got to get off the bike now. Well, Hayden doesn't have the same thing. He goes through transition, keeps riding, and then realizes that Leo Bergere stops. So he turns around and rides back into transition, which never good anyways when people are on bikes in transition regardless. But loses a ton of time in there and was very, very aggravated. And from the reports and what I heard afterwards and stuff, it sounds like they didn't hear the bell lap going in with the crowds, and then the graphic was still showing that they had another lap to go, and they had the 1 lap left sign still up, but that was for the people who were behind them, which technically should have been lapped out and not on the course period. So some were saying that they heard another bell lap for those athletes, so that's what confused everyone with the 1 lap to go and the bell, and they should have been done in there, which is unfortunate. And you definitely saw something you don't see too much, but an angry, fired up Hayden Wilde afterwards, as soon as the race was done, walked straight up to the head ref there and let him know that he wasn't happy about the situation. But it's just, it seems like there was, I mean, if it were one athlete that went completely off, but it was like the 2 of them weren't sure, then there's probably something going on the race org side where it wasn't exactly clear.
And then for Hayden to get the penalty, but Leo not to get a penalty. Once you dismount in the transition zone, that's a penalty of its own. Now they come back and say, no, Hayden got his penalty because he came back through backwards and all that, and that's why Leo didn't get one and all that. But I mean, this is it. I mean, Super League's got an awesome following, and we're all excited about watching it. And these are just simple rules to be enforced, and they've got a referee there. I mean, there's no joke about. I mean, smart times.
No, and Tom was great. He's the awesome head ref in there. But so more controversy was Hayden got the 5-second penalty in there, but it looks like the refs were more focused on that and didn't see Leo Bergere cross the line with his shoes on, so that was missed at that point. And where that got brought up was Macca and the Scorpions lodged a complaint saying, hey, like, our guy got a 5-second penalty, but he didn't. So it went to a review process after the race to see if Leo would be disqualified for not serving a penalty. It's just chaos. Of course, they're not going to disqualify him for not serving a 5-second penalty that he wasn't given. But I think that was more a show of, supporting their athletes, like saying, okay, if ours got one, they should too. But it definitely seems like it was a bit of a cluster and something that I'm sure they will rectify going forward in there. It just sucks because that would have been so good to see the 2 of them run it down to the finish. Like, they were so close, back and forth. It would have, been fun to actually see that go down instead of Hayden losing a bunch of time. But he did end up running his way back up to 4th after he got down to like 10th or 12th or something like that. Stayed strong to the finish and ran his way back up to 4th for the points for his team, that's one thing the team aspect brings. I don't think he probably wouldn't have done that if it weren't to get points for his team and stay in it.
And like
Hayden's definitely looking to be like, he looks like he's overcome those injuries and stuff that came. I mean, he looked good this weekend.
I was going to say that it was very unfortunate for Hayden because after the Paris test event, then this happens. So I just feel super bad for him because he is such a good athlete and such a character for the sport, and we need him healthy, and because he's always someone exciting to watch. So I just feel horrible for him, but I'm sure. I mean, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but usually people who get a medal at the Olympic Games the year prior, it's not very good for them. So maybe this is a blessing in disguise for Hayden.
There we go. Yeah, time would show that for sure. Yeah, hopefully he'll be back at it. But you know who else was out there, of course, because he's doing every race all the time, everywhere, anywhere in the world. It was fun. Blummenfelt out there and actually like mixing it up with everyone. Like he was in it.
Because why not?
Why not? I mean,
Christian, Leo, and now Christian's up in Nice and doing a documentary or a film for On. It's like, is he not?
Well, yeah. If there's a triathlon sum in the world, he will sniff it out and go for the win. Like, it doesn't even matter.
But and you mentioned that whole team aspect too. There he is, right there, involved with his team, talking to Leo in the 2-minute transitions and in between races. And I mean, he was involved, and it's not like he's just showing up to win for himself. He's there as part of the team and jumping right into it.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a bit of a wait until the next Super League edition. I think it's at the end of the month here. Or when is the next one?
The end of
September 30th. Yeah.
Yeah, in Malibu. Yeah, so that'll be good to see. Gives the athletes, like I said, a number. It seemed like everyone went down, most of the Scorpions. Hopefully everyone will be back to full health and ready to crush it. It's definitely been a bit of a different year with Super League with the Paris Olympics happening next year. I know a lot of people are looking towards the Pontevedra race, so they're all kind of getting ready for that. But it is still fast and furious racing, and definitely you cannot turn your eyes away for a second or else you will miss so much. Hopefully MG will recover and be ready to get his Scorpions next time there. But man, should be good.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, definitely.
Absolutely. That brings me to something that's not triathlon, but I have been geeking out on the Vuelta España. It has been so good to watch. Actually, okay. Good, frustrating, and shocking at times. Like, this race has, I don't even know what to say. I saw this great meme that I posted on my Instagram, and it's like 0 days since nonsense or shenanigans in there. Because it's just every single stage seems to have some kind of drama, some kind of change up. Oh, these organizers, they must be having like near heart attacks every day with things going wrong. But it seems sometimes they're too cautious, at other times they're not nearly cautious enough. It's been an adventure.
Yeah, especially like you said, every stage there's something going on for sure. Like stage 1, the team time trial. Like some of those teams were riding in the dark in the middle of the rain, and that was not safe at all. Imagine going 60 km an hour and all you see is water and the wheel of your teammate in front of you. I mean, kudos for those guys who didn't fall, but that was not a good move for the race organizers. I mean, you had guys like Remco Evenepoel, the TT world champion, riding in the dark, and he actually said something. He was like, "This is not safe. This is stupid. We're riding super fast, and the perspective you have on a bike, it's completely different than what we see on TV or from outside. Because when you're there on the TT bars without the ability to hit the brakes, it's scary. It's scary, and if you add the dark factor and the rain factor, that's no bueno.
Absolutely insane. And then they had another stage where they decided to move up the finish line because conditions were rough at the top there due to weather conditions. And first off, they move up the finish line to, it was like 8 or 9K to go, but they left bonus points and time at the top of the other climb. So people are still going to be racing for that. But it gets even better because they didn't actually have a timing match or camera or anything to figure out what the actual time would be for the GP there. They were going to people in the crowd asking for video footage they had taken with their phones to try to figure out something. Like, what?
Yeah. They would need to pull the Strava out of every rider and start comparing.
There we go. That's the answer in there. Like, how many stages have we not known where the GC standing is for like a half hour, an hour afterwards? Because they just don't.
I think this is the first one in like 30 plus years that this happened.
Oh, it's crazy. And then they on one of the days, there's a crazy big breakaway group of like 40 guys, and Seb Kuss gets away with it. And this guy is an absolute machine. This is his 3rd world tour of the year, and he's usually a domestique for Jumbo-Visma, and everyone credits him to being like the best domestique in the world. Doing 3 Grand Tours is insanity on its own.
Yeah.
But leading in the 3rd Grand Tour, Like, oh man, I don't know. And it's hard with the Vuelta because they don't show the start of every stage in there. They only show select ones, and oddly enough, some of the more boring ones. But yeah, I don't know if they didn't know he was in the breakaway or just didn't see him as a threat. But that time gap got huge, and in the end, he was still like just under 3 minutes ahead of all the GC contenders. Which, he's not a GC guy traditionally, but when you got almost 3 minutes and you're Seb Kuss, one of the best climbers in the world, like things get interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting too, because I was listening. I mean, it brings up a point about communication in general in these sports, in triathlon as well, like what are split times and things like that. I heard Paula Finley say they had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
They had no idea Imogen was up there with Taylor.
Yeah.
In the World Championships. And so that's whole crazy. Group thought that they were running for second, third, fourth, fifth in the podium and had no idea that they were battling for third. And Imogen was out there. So that's crazy too, because that's at a stage where they've all got somebody out there telling them what their splits are and things like that. So in a race like that, where there's literally team cars and nobody knows
radios to everyone. Yeah, no, there was another stage where apparently Van der Poel didn't know that they were in the front. He thought the breakaway had won the stage, right. And why Roglic is like sprinting for the finish. It's like, I'll sit back there, and then Roglic celebrates, and he's like, you just see this look on his face, like, what's happening?
Oh man,
yeah, that was the sprint for the stage. He's like, well, shit.
yeah. I mean, hopefully they get it right. I mean, today it was a rest day. Hopefully tomorrow that the organizers are starting to get the timing and everything of it on the right page, because it's that first week was chaos. I think they were smoking something, or I don't know, but yeah, it was weird.
It'll be curious to see. I think the time trial will really set up what Jumbo-Visma does for their GC contender, because they're like dominating everything right now. Tour de Britain, they've won the first two stages, but I think we've never really seen Seb Kuss do a time trial all out, because usually he's just there for support. So he's just kind of getting within the time cuts, really. So it'll be interesting to see what those GC time looks like after that time trial. I love that they have the individual time trial, because it really, it really makes mano like just A to B, fast as you can. Who's the strongest? Yeah. Let's see. Great.
I just love the time trials. They're brutal and honest, and a great way to separate the GC guys. But I remember earlier on, before the tour, Jonas Vingegaard, he said that his plans were actually to ride the Vuelta as well, and also Primoz after winning the Giro. So my mind, I mean, I really want this to be like a fairy tale story, like Primoz and Jonas are there riding for Seb, as a thank you, like we're gonna pull you through. This is your grand tour. Because imagine if Seb Kuss manages to win the Vuelta. It would be amazing for American cycling. And it's been a long time, and I don't know if Seb, if he actually pulls this one off, if he would say, okay, I'm done being a domestic, I want to go for the GCs always, and tries to get a bigger contract with another team, or if Jumbo said, okay, we're also going to give you a bigger paycheck, but please stay with us and stay, with your role as a domestic for Primoz and Jonas. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I really hope Seb gets the win. I think he deserves it a lot.
Oh, it'd be so cool.
It's quite the interview he's got coming up.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I've heard asked a few people about this and stuff, about Seb being kind of like a GC contender and really going up there. And a lot of the conversation back was just like, he doesn't love the attention and kind of being in that role. He's happy to be in that kind of domestique role. And you got to imagine I don't think there's another team out there that could probably afford to pay him like Jumbo-Visma is paying for him to be a domestique. Like,
Yeah.
they are paying him well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But in the same
Without
way,
pressure of winning.
he looked very happy when he got to the top of that climb and was everyone else and no one.
Maybe he just needs a taste.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh man, no, yeah. This time trial tomorrow, I'm so curious to see where it ends up and where they do. Like, could you imagine? Okay, here is Jumbo-Visma has been so dominant, and if they win this race, they'll be the first team ever to win all Grand Tours.
Yep.
But could you imagine them doing that with 3 different riders? If
Oh.
Seb Kuss did it, but even more, like they could legitimately be 1, 2, 3 on the podium.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just wipe out the podium entirely. Like, man, it's fun and epic to watch, but at some point it's going to get boring. They're just everyone.
Removes the
Yeah.
team aspect, and then it's like, all right, so now how do we determine the roles of the team?
Oh man, just plop one into every tour and you'll be good to go.
There you
Although
go.
Seb may need the other 2 to warm up, and then
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah. I mean, tomorrow's stage, it's like like you said, Jenna, TT, and it's 25.8 Ks, and it's fairly flat. I don't see Seb losing the 2 minutes and 22 seconds he has on the Uber TT specialist that is Remco Evenepoel. He's gonna lose some, but here's this is the most important piece of information for me, because he's leading the GC, and then the guy in second is Marc Soler, a Spanish guy. He's 43 seconds from Seb, but Marc is not the greatest TT specialist. So I think Seb is gonna push, and Marc is even gonna drop all the way to potentially 5th or 6th place in the GC.
I could see that. Yeah, for sure. And you know
Yeah.
what, Seb, like leading a Grand Tour has got to give you some extra power out on a
Yeah.
TT on the day.
Yeah, especially going out last, like that gives you such a like way more information, because you know the time checks of everyone, and you know how fast or how little you need to push to be within contention, or to create a gap, or to keep a gap. So I think tomorrow's stage is just going to be make sure you break Marc Soler, and make sure you don't lose as much time to Remco and, you know, Primoz, Jonas, all those guys.
Mhm. Man. Okay. Sorry for everyone who's not a cycling fan, but we just had to geek out on that a bit because it's so good. Benny, did we have any other race results that you wanted to bring up this week?
Yeah, so we had the friend of the show, Frederick Funk, going to Zell Sikaprun, which this is in Austria. I think back in 2015, the World Championships were over there, and tough and honest course. And he took the win, so he's on a roll. On second place, we had another German, Jan Stratman, and on third place from Belgium, we had Sten Gostwurst coming in third place. And then on the women's side, we had another all-German podium. Daniela Blamel coming in first, Daniela Kleiser in second, and Francie Renk coming in third place. This was in Austria. We had another smaller race in Poland, which it was, I mean, like the PTO does their ranking. This was like a B, C type of tier race. And we had another German one too, Wilhelm Hirsch in first place, Christopher Madner in second place, and from the Great Britain, Thomas Davis in third place. Over the women's side, we had from Germany, Leonie Concala in first place, Italians Elisabetta Kuridori in second place, and from Poland, Agnieszka Jerski running up the podium in third place. And on Ironman Wales, which is Jenna's favorite land in the entire world, we had women only pro field. So this was very exciting. And we had Nikki Bartlett from the Great Britain taking the win. Then we had in second place from Finland, Heini Hartakin in second place, and from Germany, Joanna Arends in third place. And I mean, you've done Ireland, right, Jenna? Not
I did
Wales. Yeah,
Ireland, yeah,
I
Wales,
was
but
gonna say, but still, same conditions. Rainy, miserable, hilly, cold.
perfect. Uh,
Not Cozumel, that's for sure.
no, I love those kind of courses. Just, it gets down to just pure grit, hard, on your own. You don't have to worry about the draft packs in those races, I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Love it. No, there was definitely a surprising amount going on this weekend. Things quiet down after this one, but still lots of fun racing going on to watch. And we saw now all the attention seems to be turning towards the Ironman World Championships in Nice.
Yeah.
There, lots going on, but you know what? It doesn't seem like the hype and the energy is the same as it's been kind of going into Kona in past years. Before, I felt like it was like Kona, 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 everything everywhere. Everyone's talking about it. And I think just that turnaround from the 70.3 world champs to the Ironman world champs, I think people are a little fatigued from it, but it just seems like they haven't ramped up the energy or excitement. And it's definitely not, I don't want to say not as deep, but a lot of the big names aren't there. So I don't know if people are just not getting excited about it, or if the Ironman crew just hasn't had the energy to put out all the social media and content that they usually do, just recovering from Nice, because the race or ride, I know that can be tough. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I don't think I would know this race was happening if I wasn't really into triathlon.
I think we'll see
Yeah.
it this week.
Yeah.
I think it'll pick up this week. But like you said, I mean, if this was Kona, we would have been seeing it for weeks now.
Oh, yeah. There'd be the big countdowns. Here's who's racing. Here's the matchups. Who's going to do what. And just seems like it's been
they
a
did
regular
put out a
race.
good start list post. And it was very interesting how they did it, too. I mean, they put up like the top, 10, 15 on slide 1. And then slide 2 was like the other 30. I was like, oh, man. If you didn't make slide 1, there's some ammo for you right there, because they definitely, I think they're going to promote it this week. But like you said, that coming out of 70.3 with only 2 weeks in between is back to back to back. And
yeah, and I think it detracted from both races just in participation all around, right? We had some people are out after 70.3 Worlds or had issues there. And then we had some people not doing 70.3 Worlds because Nice was 2 weeks later. It just, I don't know. I don't love it.
Well, we did hear the season of disappointment has continued with Mr. Gustav pulling out.
Oh, yeah.
Again with another different injury, but apparently he's happy to know that his season is over and he can start focusing on next year instead of trying to pushing through. So good luck to him getting through, and hopefully we'll see him in better form in 2024.
Honestly, it might even be the best thing in there. Just, mentally, physically, he's been going through a lot, and it's so hard. It's like trying to force square peg through a round hole when it's just not lining up and you're just beating yourself up about it. Like, that's got to be a hard mental hit, going from being on top of the world and untouchable to, a year of just not, personally and in sport, just having so many challenges there. So hopefully he can rest up and find a little bit of peace there. It's tough to see.
Yeah.
It just goes to show how brutal the sport is at that level. We take for granted guys like Jan, who's been there since 1920 or something. He's been on top for a long time, and I think the beauty of or why we call him the GOAT is, I remember, I grew up playing baseball, and my favorite player of all time is Derek Jeter, and he would always say that winning a world championship is not too hard. Yes, it's hard, but it's not too hard. The hardest thing is to win it again and again and again and again. And I think with Gustav, it was just a case of bad timing and life happening at everything at the same time in a time frame super close. Uh, but hopefully we can see him bounce back, and because it's good to have him on in the sport, healthy and happy, because he's a great character and he's always someone who cracks a joke and doesn't take himself too serious. Uh, but yeah, I like on the other side of the coin, it's also uh, it shows us how impressive is for guys like Jan to be there on top for quite a long time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, unfortunately, we'll keep with the downer stuff for a moment. Well, I'm actually just on the Tri Rating website, and they're awesome for getting the rundown of who's where, what, and who's performing expected times. But a few people that we have out so far is Max Newman. Unfortunately, he was one of the favorites to be up near the top there. He's not going to be able to race after what was thought to be a minor bike crash, but it looks like it's having some lingering issues there. We got Michael Weiss is out, Oliver Martinessen is out, Jan van Berkel not racing. And then Tri-Rating goes on to make some assumptions with no bibs assigned to Sam Appleton, Matt Burton, Stephen McKenna, and actually a friend of the show, Luciano Tacconi, making it very unlikely that they're going to be racing. And then Jesper Svensson is also not, and Rasmus Svenningsson. So we've had quite a few dropouts there. And of course, the thing we were all kind of maybe hoping there'd be a Norwegian show up there doesn't look like it's going to happen. It was funny. Blummenfelt caused a bit of a stir posting on his Instagram stories a plane ticket to Nice. Where, that would just be something he would do. Like, I would not be surprised in the least. But I think him and Gustav are out there doing some promotion for On Running. But how good would that be?
He is going to do a shakeout run. So, I mean, what do you do a shakeout run for? Come on.
There you go. Yeah.
Do the swim and the bike as a hard training day. And then if you happen to run, screws around. It's a catered training day.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you do a shakeout run in Cloud Boom Echoes? Like, what is that pace?
Oh man, for them, I can't even imagine. They're doing like 5:30 miles, just a little shakeout jump.
Yeah, honestly, that's something I respect quite a lot about those guys, is that they were usually very open with their Strava. I mean, nowadays they hide their power and calories and all of that, but they keep the distance and everything and the pace, and they usually do their like shakeouts or easy runs like 5+ k's per hour, so that like 8-minute mile pace, or even slower. So respect to those guys, because they're respecting their zones, and they know that they need to, even though they're the best of the world, that loss of training still affects them, and that doing a shakeout run too fast is probably not beneficial for them. So that's very good to see on those guys.
Well, we definitely have a few athletes still racing here, which will make it very, very interesting. So I'll give you guys the top 10 here. I'm sure we'll jump into it a little bit more, but number 1, any guesses?
We have to figure out a way to determine who goes first.
Oh man, I know. It's going to be the hardest part. So we got Mr. Jan Frodeno. We got Patrick Lange, Sam Laidlow, Joe Skipper, Leon Chevalier, Magnus Ditlev, Clement Mignon, Brendan Curry, Dennis Chevreau, Rio Berg, Daniel Beckegaard, Peter Hemrick, Christian Hogenhag. I went the top 15 because there are just so many names here. It's going to be interesting. Like, man, I want to see Jan win so bad and just go out his last competitive race here, take it, and just be like, mic drop, won another one, won the Olympics. I'm out.
It would be epic. And I think Cam Wharf too is coming, so we'll see if he still shows up. So I mean, there is a good field here, and we know Jan has been talking about it for a long time. He's been training on the course. He's spent time there, and there isn't a better way for a goat to go out than on top. I think we've had a few goats in American sports take another season too long. So Especially here in New England, we know that one well. Who actually gets his number retired in a big special day
Yeah.
at the stadium in New England on Sunday, which is kind of interesting. So a couple of goats going out on Sunday.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. And I think the fun part about this is it's so open because we've never seen the best in the world all racing on this course. Yes, there is Ironman Nice, but there's never an accumulation of athletes like this. And that definitely changes up the dynamic significantly. And there are a few past Ironman Nice winners. So there are a few athletes here who know this course, who have seen success on this course. But from everything I'm seeing, and I've got so much FOMO not being out there, it sounds like it definitely has some elevation gain. It definitely has some technicality in it. But even the downhills, they're saying you can still pedal on them, so you don't get a complete break on that downhill either. So the question is it going to be a case of the strongest rider kind of gets up and over it and is able to run well afterwards? Or is it going to be a case of the lightest cyclist has that power to weight ratio, gets up there and can still run well afterwards? Where it really changes up too is the bike times are going to be significantly slower than what they're used to seeing in Kona. Nobody's going to be riding 4 hours here.
No, definitely not. And
the fear factor too, right? Who's going to be the fearless on that day, right? I mean, your eyes start seeing some of those descents, and what's 5 feet to the right, it can get to you.
And something we saw on the last time trial at the Tour de France is knowing the course and knowing which corners you can rail and which corners you have to be conservative on. Like that is minutes difference over 180 kilometers. So definitely there's some credence to being out there and actually riding this course. It's not a case of just going your aero bars and go stick to your power numbers for the whole day.
Yeah, I think like you pointed, Jenna, the race, the guy who cycles the course the fastest, it's not going to be, your typical beast or the one who can pushes the most power, who can crank the pedals the hardest, or not even the lightest. I think this course is going to reward those athletes who have put in the work and the homework and the course reckon and the best one, the guy that knows the course the best, I think is the one that's going to be separating from the bunch. That's my take on it, and I think if this particular course is going to benefit, guys like Rudy Von Berg, Sam Laidlow, Cam Worth, obviously Jan, because I know, like Josh mentioned, he was up there doing their course recce and gathering all pieces of data. And don't be surprised if Jan shows up with a prototype of some sort of a bike or wheels or something light, like Sebi did in Norseman, because those Germans don't leave any stone unturned. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how it goes down there. And then, there you have athletes like Patrick Lange. He, he's solid on the bike, he's light, and he can run. Like that, some of the run splits he's put down, very absolutely unreal. So it'll be I'm really curious to see how he goes on this, because he's not, if you just put him flat in a straight line, like he loses time on the bike. But again, that power to weight ratio definitely helps on climbs like this. And it just seems like even after a hard bike, he can run the house down.
Yeah. And I think he's the type of athlete who trusts his run ability to the level that he is not going to be taking risks on the downhill. He's going to be, okay, you guys want to go? Go. I'm going to catch you. I'll see you guys out there on the run.
So I was going to save this for my What the F moment of the week, but since you brought it up about the Germans kind of doing something, who knows what they'll show up with race day, there was a social media post that I saw from Sam Laidlow, who he's a Canyon athlete, so is Jan, and Canyon has definitely been very invested in making sure that their athletes are kind of dialed in. I looked at that post with Sam Laidlow, and I only paid attention because I saw Talbot Cox had like the big eye emojis across the line. I'm like, okay, what's that for, right? If you swipe through the carousel on the second picture, he has a road bike, but with aero bars on it.
Oh.
And he's riding next to it. So the first picture is his what is the Speedmax or like his TT bike. The next
Yep.
picture is him training with a road bike with aero bars. And Canyon is definitely, of all the bike brands, seems like the one who would kind of come up with something specific for this race to kind of take it to the next level. So that'd be something I'm curious about. What do we think that like Sam will show up to this race because it does have that elevation and that climbing on a road bike with aero bars, or had they developed something special with some crazy aero front end? Because that's definitely something they do in there that Jan Frodeno will show up on. Like, what do we think? Do we think everyone's going to show up with a tri bike, or is there a possibility to come up with these kind of almost a crossover road tri bike setup?
I mean, I saw Rudy von Berg's track speed concept paint job, and it looks amazing. So I think he's going to be on a TT bike, but yeah.
I mean, once you got the paint job, you got to show up.
Exactly. You got to show up if you have the paint job. But no, I haven't looked at the post now, and now I'm intrigued. I don't know if it's like a, Sam Lalo, it's known for being a prankster and trolling around. So maybe he's throwing out the fish hook for other pros, like, hey, I'm going to be on the road bike, you should too. Right. And then shows up on a super fast, lightweight TT bike. But I don't know. What about you, Josh? What do you think about this?
Perspective.
I was just trying to take a look at like some of Jan's most recent posts too. It's in with the Canyon, and he's definitely got some posts with road bikes that he's been doing a lot of road bike riding.
Yeah.
But his most recent post is him on a TT bike. So, but like you said, Jenna, I think there's some tweaks and things that could be done to that, or a hybrid type situation that we might. I'm sure we're going to see it across the board. There's going to be plenty of athletes that are going to try and see if that's the difference for them. They're not going to track down Jan on a TT bike in a normal situation, right? It'll also be interesting to see in a course like this, knowing that we're back to the full distance Ironman in a situation like this. Are people with the legs going to push the bike? Is there going to be a separation on a bike by somebody? Is Magnus going to get out there and run away with it on the bike, or and is anybody going to catch him on the run? So, or are they going to stay together and see who's got the best legs on the run? It'll be interesting to see because of that climbing factor. Here is that opportunity, like the Tour de France, for somebody.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was listening to who was it? I can't think. I was watching some of the Babbitteville interviews this morning, and one of the athletes on there was like, these days we're attacking this like at 70.3. It's like you want to stick to your numbers and you have to stick within yourself to a certain point. But if you let the race go up the road, your day might be over, right? But it goes both ways. We've seen a lot of blowups in like the PTO open races and stuff because people are racing them just to hang on to the front group, and then we see spectacular explosions. You got to wonder, are they going to do the same thing at the Ironman World Champs? Because that line is a lot thinner when you're talking Ironman distance, where you're like Fede said, you're just done at some point. Right? Like, you just at that point where it's, like, it's all done. Like nothing pretty is happening after this.
No. Yeah, and actually,
Jan hitting that wall of that limit. Right, because this is his last go. So if there's somebody to like literally push the limit and see what they've got, and he knows that he's literally got to have a perfect day in order to beat everyone at this point of his career, then maybe we do see the bonk. But if not, we know what's going to happen if he doesn't hit it.
Yeah, could be. And I was actually, now that you pointed out the power to weight ratio, I want to play devil's advocate here, and I want to say that I believe not a lot of athletes, but quite a few, with the bike course in mind. I think a lot of them are going to go into the race a few pounds too light. And that's going to bite them. I think a lot of them, especially the heavier athletes, might show up a few pounds lighter, and maybe bike power is not there, and maybe they needed that extra muscle to manage the poundage on the bike course and then on the run course. So I think the something that we haven't talked about that might play a huge factor is those athletes who didn't manage who actually got afraid and lost a bunch of weight, and then they're gonna turn in race a flat
That is such a good perspective. No, absolutely. And that's something that we see for sure, especially these days. It seems like some of these guys get so crazy lean in it, but I absolutely see that playing a part because, in cycling, it's definitely rampant, kind of the weight loss to the extreme to get ready for big tours. But in triathlon, you still have to run a marathon afterwards. And you need some of that muscle strength to hold up to the pounding for that. So that's a really, really good point in there I hadn't considered.
Yeah, I agree. That is a very good point because we just talked about this last week with your experience at Le Top and talking to Jan's vote and talking about your experience and how much you're going to drop to try and get ready for Kona and things like that. That's not what we do in triathlon world, right?
No.
We power to weight is power to weight, and we have a great FTP, and boom, let's keep going. You're not trying to drop, but I think Fetty's right. When you get to this level and this big of a race, and the goats are all there, somebody's going to do something different, and that's one way for them to do it.
Another thing I was thinking about too is a few athletes had really great performances at Roth, like Magnus, where traditionally, if you're firing at Frankfurt or Roth, they don't typically back it up well for Kona, which is in October. This in September, which makes that recovery period even faster. And especially when you have those big days where you just have an epic performance, that takes a long time to recover from. And I think it was Ben Knut was saying kind of the same thing. Like he didn't expect how much that would take out of him. So like Magnus was definitely someone I was thinking about until I thought about that Roth performance and how hard backing that up is. And then we got people like, we haven't even talked about Joe Skipper, who he had an up and down season for a while, but crushed his last one there. And he's someone who just can seem to rock up to Ironmans and either does really well or okay. But he'll definitely be familiar with kind of the crappy road surfaces and the bike handling skills. And he is absolutely a strength athlete who can back it up and run well, like we saw at sub-7, sub-6. Like he was minutes off of Christian, like on a really good day. So you think if he's primed and ready to go and feeling good, he could definitely be someone who's right up there too, and not having the heat to deal with. Hopefully.
Yeah. The question is, are we going to see Joe pull up with a 60 plus to a chain ring, or
one by
one by
You never know. You never know
with Joe. Maybe he shows up with a 2 by, maybe, I don't know, 58 front, 40 something on the small chain ring. We'll see. With a big chain catcher, I don't know. We'll see what he shows up with.
That would be entertaining. Yeah, it sounds like he's another one who's been out there wrecking the course and getting ready to go. Oh man. Okay, so how do we make picks for this? Is anyone not going for Jan?
So yeah, I think we just go Jan all across the board, and now we just pick our next 3.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Let's pick. We've all decided that Jan's gonna win. Let's pick second place and third place, because I think Jan deserves the win here, and we all agree that he's gonna win.
Yep.
I like it. That's a good way to go about it. Okay, Josh, what do you think? Who do we got running up the podium here?
I'm going to pass it off to Fetty. Fetty, you go now.
Okay.
Pressure's on. Okay, so I'm going to go Jan, obviously, for the win. Then I'm going to go Braden Curry from New Zealand in second. He's a strong cyclist, and he's one of the guys that excels in this type of courses because he's actually a better bike rider when the courses are tough and hilly, and he's an unbelievably strong runner. So Braden in second. And third place, this is interesting, huh? Third place, I'm gonna go with Daniel Beckegaard.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, it is so crazy here. You know what? I'm gonna go, the GOAT. And then, I think Patrick Lang, I think that run, I think if we can stay strong, what he's got on the bike over a hilly course, if he can run like some of the runs he's been doing, I think he could have a shot at second. And then I'm going to go Joe Skipper. Just gritty course. Listening to his podcast seems like he's really fired up. And those tough courses, he really seems to just thrive on crushing people. So I think, we'll go with that.
I like it.
Nice.
I mean, he definitely seems like he's amped up for this season, especially coming out of Lake Placid and what that did for his confidence too. So again, I'm gonna go with the GOAT Jan for the win. I'm gonna go Skipper second, actually.
Oh, wow.
And then I think because of what he realized coming out of PTO in Milwaukee, that Magnus has recharged and figured out what's going on. So I'm going to go Magnus for third.
I like it. Yeah. If he can back up that, like, he had such an epic race there in Roth. It wouldn't be surprised to see him up there by any means whatsoever.
It would definitely give Daniela some confidence going into Kona if Magnus could come back with a good performance and finally somebody from Roth does something.
Right. That would be awesome. Not impossible, but yeah, we've definitely seen it. And that is a short time frame, but love to see it happen. Okay. Oh, I can't. Yeah, I'm more excited now talking about this. Now that we're diving into it and chatting a bit more, I'm like, okay, I'm excited for
There you go.
World this weekend. Let's go. We got I think we'll save listener questions for next week because we're running a bit long here. But let's get to our social media post of the week. Josh, what do you got for us on the socials?
Well, it's a great transition coming out of this conversation because we all picked Jan, and some of it had to do with a post the PTO just put up and a little bit of a soundbite, and Mr. Frodeno doesn't like bulletin board material and things like that. Well, we come to find out he doesn't like talking trash, but he loves.
You know what? Why don't we play that on here? I bet I could pull it up and people can take a listen to what he actually says.
We got a soundbite from the PTO, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. 'Cause, I saw this and I was like, okay, let's see if this works.
I've never been one for smack talk, but I feel like I've copped so much from people, while I was, like people making comments about course records being broken while I was lying in hospital, and I was like, you know what, I'm saving some, I've got a list of people in the back of my head that have said things and with or without bad intentions, but it's just that's the fuel, and that's probably the little bit of anger I have left and need to push me.
Man, you don't hear him talk like that too often.
No, I want to know when that soundbite was from. I don't know. It was hard to tell exactly how long ago it was taken, whatever, but it still gives you his mindset coming into this final race, no matter what. And
you know what? I'm pretty sure it was after Milwaukee when he took the win.
Yeah.
He's still like a little emotional and shaking after the race kind of thing, and that would have been his last kind of come back in there.
He's winning for sure.
Yeah.
So that is definitely a post to check out, rewatch it, whatever. It's kind of your own motivation. If you got a hard training session, somebody talking trash to you, write it down.
Yeah.
Some of the best have bulletin board material one way or another. They have something that fuels them on those hard days, hard sessions. Even the best have it. So really cool post. Thank you, Jenna, for tagging me in that because I loved it as well. Literally, as we hopped on to do this podcast, I was listening to it again and getting myself psyched up for this week of tapering. So,
love to see it. It seems like he's healthy, ready to fire and get after it, and just it would be a cool send off. Although I'm really getting conflicted reports. Is this going to be his last race, or is it his last championship race, and he's going to keep racing? I don't know.
I think Sebi has said it too. Like Sebi was interviewed during the World Championships, right? He was like getting ready to do his own local try, and he's like, we thought you were done at Roth.
No, same thing. Yeah, I wonder if he'll have like a farewell tour where he does some, like Sebi, and does some fun races that he's wanted to do, and just does some more low key races for fun, or if this will be the last of it. It'd be crazy.
I mean, I think he's still going to be in the sport one way or the other. However, I mean, This is just my fanboy talking, and I had this with Tom Brady when he announced his retirement, and then he went back to Tampa. But there's something in the back of my head that if Jan wins Sunday, I think he's gonna consider going to Kona after the Olympics and
Really?
finally settling it down with Christian and Gustav in Kona. So, but then again, this might be my fanboy talking.
I mean, Cav said he was done at the end of this year, and now there's a chance he might be back for another year.
There you go.
Business. Yeah, that unfinished business can be a driver. I know we'd all love to see it, but man, there's something about retiring on top, but that's got to be a hard thing to let go when you're the best in the world. And
maybe Tom Brady is the lesson that is going to keep him.
Yeah.
Wrong after that Tampa Bay Super Bowl. So
that is true. This is true.
I almost bought a Tom Brady jersey today, and I pushed it aside, and I said, "Nope."
I'm gonna wear mine Sunday, actually. So yeah, that'd be nice.
Well, I know we will definitely be watching this weekend to see how the men's race goes. It's going to be interesting to watch, and of course the TT tomorrow for the Vuelta España, because I'm so curious there too. Lots of fun racing coming up. I know we'll have a bit of a lull after that, but let's take it and enjoy it while we can. Hopefully you're out on whether you're doing a long trainer ride or catching up on it after your long training days. It's going to be a fun one to watch. But as always, thank you so much, guys, for joining me and geeking out on all things triathlon and endurance sports.
Wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now. This is too fun right now. Championship season.
Absolutely.
Have a great night, guys.
See ya.
You too. See ya.